for a stretch, and today I'm back out here in the garage getting some work in. Today we're going to see about changing the brakes on a 2004 Acura TL. So stay tuned and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so as you see here, we got our 2004 Acura we're going to be working on today. So you can see it's kind of dirty. I ain't washed it in a while because every time I go to wash it, it decides it want to rain or rain the next day. So I figured I'll wait until I know it ain't going to rain for the week. So here we got our parts. We got our brake pads and brake lubricant for the front. I'm just going to do the front today. So what I'm going to start off by taking the front rims off, of course. Once I get them off, I'm going to actually go ahead and clean those up real good while they're off on the front and back side. And then get to actually pulling the brakes off and start to change the brakes and everything. Hopefully we don't have to worry about changing the rotors, but I'll check those out once I pull the brake pads off, make sure that the rotors are still smooth. And if not, then I'll take them down to AutoZone probably and see if they can turn them. And if they can't turn them, then I'll just have to buy some more. But I'll go ahead and start taking this front tire off on both sides. Oh, real quick, I already went on ahead and had it jacked up and everything. So what I do when I jack up a car, especially if I'm doing both sides at the same time, I get it up there, put the jack stands under, release the jack just a little bit so that it rests solely on the jack stands, but I leave the jack up under it, touching it. That way, whatever case, if something happened with the jack stands, then the jack will still be there for just an added layer of protection while you're working underneath the car. Or even if you're not underneath it, you don't want your car somehow just falling out the jack stands for no reason and without the tires being on there, because then you have a bad day with a lot more work to do. So let me go ahead and get started with taking these tires off, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so I got the first tire off. Use my good old trusty impact and my impact sockets. Makes the job a lot easier. As you can see here, one of my lugs actually broke. Well, I guess it actually been broke. There's rusted and stuff here, so I'm gonna have to see about replacing that, but that'll be another time, another video. So the next thing we're gonna do here is hopefully you can see up under there, maybe not. Well, behind here, it's a nut right there that you gotta undo. Once you undo this nut, you should be able to rotate this up. And once you rotate it up, it'll be off of the rotor, and then you'll be able to remove the actual brake pads off. If you ever have to replace the rotor, this one is actually pretty smooth, so I'm not going to worry about messing with this rotor right now. But you have to take both of these off in order to start to take the rotor off. So I'm going to go ahead and undo this and get the first set of brake pads off and get ready to put the new ones in on this side. Alright, so we got that up and going. As you can see here, this is the caliper, or part of the caliper. It just rotates up. And what I end up having to do was this bolt here, when it's down, it sits inside the caliper like that, and when the bolt was in there, I had to end up putting some vice grips on this one because this one was spinning when I was trying to undo the other bolt. So I got some pliers to put on there, and then use the socket wrench and socket to undo the bolt. And then for the one at the top up here, I had to do the same thing, but this one I just loosen up a little bit because from there it stays on there and it just rotates up. From there we had the brake pads. As you can see, they wore way down. They're not all the way gone yet, so that's a good thing, but they wore pretty bad. This one was on this side here, and you can see it just fits up in there in that slot, and then the bottom slot here just pushes in. This one has this little bracket part sticking off, so you want to make sure that on your new one you put on that you also get the one for that side that has the bracket spot, and it goes on the outside, and then the one for the inside is just plain. It don't have anything on it. From there I went on ahead and took the other side tire off because I sprayed this side down with brake cleaner just to clean it up a little bit. My rotors, like I said, they weren't too bad at all, so I'm not going to worry about changing this one here. The next thing you pretty much have to do is go up under the hood, and you want to look for your brake fluid cylinder, or your brake fluid reservoir, because you want to take the cap off of that. So let me see where it is on this car, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so I found where this oil reservoir is on the Acura. Like I said, this is the TL. This should be the 04 to 08 model. But it's under here. This actually goes underneath there or whatever, and it pops in and it pops right out, but it's way back up under there. This is where you go to get it to take it off. And then, oh yeah, just so y'all know too, this is a pretty cool little gadget I picked up, a little light. It got the regular light LEDs, and it got a red, and then it got red flashing as well. And it's battery operated. Well, it's rechargeable, should I say, battery operated. You just go and you, a little charger right here, you just pop it on the charger and it starts charging. And the bottom, it got a little magnetic thing on it, so you can just stick it wherever you need it at, and it just sticks on there. So that's pretty cool. All the tools and everything I use will be in my description, so you can go down there for the links to find where to get the stuff at as well. So let me go ahead and now get ready to start putting these brakes on. I'm gonna take the brake lube here, and you want to put the brake lube on the back of the brake pad. And what it does is it's supposed to absorb the vibration and the squeal noise, and then you want to try to lubricate all moving parts and everything. So I'm gonna get that done on this side, go ahead and do the other side, and then we'll be ready to get the calipers back down and check the brake fluid and make sure everything good. Alright, as you see, we got the new brake pads on there, fitting on pretty nicely. So the next thing you want to do, and the reason why you had to take the top off of the oil reservoir, is because you have to push this brake caliper in. And once you put the brake caliper in, what it's going to do is force the fluid up through the line back into the brake fluid reservoir container. So you take the cap off so it don't have that pressure on there when you're trying to push that back up in there and you bust a line or something like that. So what I usually do is I find something that's going to just fit over the brake caliper. I got this block for now I'm going to use, and just stick it on there. And I'm going to use a C-clamp or something just to put on both sides, on this side and on the back side of it, and start tightening it in to push that in. And the reason is because when you took the old brake pads off, see how thin they are now, and then you see how thick the new pads are. So the last time you use your brakes and use it with the old pads, the caliper had to come out further in order to press the brakes. So now you got to push it back up in there, so it'll clear the brake pads when you go ahead and rotate it back down. So let me go ahead and get to that, and I shall be back. Alright, so we got the caliper pushed back up in there. As you can see, it's pretty flush now. So now it should be able to just come on down. Close on in there. This piece here is kind of like a little spring, so you just push that back in so you can let it go on all the way down on top of there. Then you just put your bolt back in there, tighten it down, tighten the top one back down. And once I finish with that, as you can see here now, the fluid is all the way up inside the reservoir now. So once I get the brakes back on and the tires back on, then I'll go ahead and I'll press the brakes and that'll actually go down. But you want to make sure you put the cap back on there first before you do that, because otherwise you can suck in some air and then you have to worry about bleeding the brakes. Usually when you change the brakes, you don't have to bleed them, but there are some instances where it could be the case. So once you get the tires, or actually I'll probably do it before I put the tires on. Once I get these bolted back down, I'll go ahead and hit the brakes and see how they feel and make sure that I'm not going to have to bleed them just in case. Alright, so got that all done. My brakes were good, didn't have to bleed them, so we're good to go with that. I just got to put those pieces back on. But first I'm going to go ahead and do these rims since I got them off. As you can see, the back rim, they're a little dirty. I haven't washed this thing in probably about 4 weeks, so that's why it's so dirty. But you can see the front rim, they're a lot more dirtier than the rear rims. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this while I got it off. So what I'm going to end up using is this stuff here. I got this one from some kind of truck place where you buy parts and stuff for 18-wheeler trucks or whatever, and I just put it in another bottle. I'm gonna spray it on there. You got to be careful with it because it got acid and stuff. It's pretty much acid or whatever, so you don't want to leave it on there too long. So I'm gonna do these and then I'll show you how they turn out. Alright, so here go the results. Got it all cleaned up. Use my stuff over there. Use a little brush just to swirl everything around. Once I sprayed it on and let it sit for a second. Like I said, with that you don't want to let it sit too long because it'll start trying to eat through the rim. So got it on there, got it brushed around, sprayed off, and now I just wipe them clean because it'll leave like a little film on there once you spray them down with the water. So once it dries, wipe around with a little cloth and you should be good to go. So now it's time just to get these on, bolted back on, and then I'll probably pull the car on out to wash it. Other than that, that's it, and I'll holler at y'all later.